Good morning, dear students. Welcome to Civics class again. So, dear students, we are learning about the President of India and his powers. That is our lesson. So, already we have learned about the election of the President, no? In order to elect the President of India, there is an electoral college. And please remember the composition of that electoral college. Means who are electing the President of India, the members of this college, elected members of the Parliament of India and the various legislative assemblies of our country are the members of this electoral college, elected members. So please remember, elected members of the Parliament. Because there are 14 members in the Parliament, they are not elected. They are nominated by the President of India. And these nominated members are not eligible to cast a vote in this election. Okay, so please remember election of the President and his terms we have learned. Okay, now the remaining powers we will learn. Okay, so already we have learned about the executive powers, legislative powers, and now it is about the discretionary powers of the President of India. And according to our constitution, the President of India has to follow the advice of the Prime Minister and his Council Ministers in order to perform his powers. But in some rare cases, he will not follow that one. He can use his wisdom, and judgment. This power is known as the discretionary power of the President of India. So the President of India enjoys certain discretionary powers. There are certain grey areas. What do you mean by grey areas? A situation that is not clear or where the rules are not known. So that is the meaning of the grey areas, a situation that is not clear. So there are certain grey areas where President may have to use his wisdom and judgment. In certain occasion, President of India will not follow the advice of the Prime Minister, and he will use his wisdom and judgment. This power is known as the discretionary power of the President of India. We will learn which are the occasions. One occasion, appointment of the Prime Minister in a situation where no single party commands the clear support of the majority of the Lok Sabha members, and there is a hung parliament. So what do you mean by hung parliament? If there is a hung parliament, the President of India will use his judgment and wisdom. So what do you mean by hung parliament? In order to form the government at the center, majority seat in the Lok Sabha is very essential. If it is BJP or Congress or any other party, if these parties are parties want to form government at the center, so what is essential? Majority seat in the Lok Sabha. We know what is the strength of the Lok Sabha now, 545. Out of these 545, 2 are nominated, so leave with them, and 543 members are there. What is the half of 543? So in order to form the government at the center, a party need more than half of 543. This is known as the majority. So what is majority? What we can say, majority seat means more than half in the Lok Sabha. That is essential. So we can say 272 plus. If a party has 272 plus, in the Lok Sabha, that party can form government at the center. Suppose what is a situation. So after the election, so there is no clear majority any party. कोई party का बहुमत नहीं. कोई दल का बहुमत नहीं है. Means no majority to any party. So this will create a hung parliament. So during this situation, so President of India will use his wisdom and judgment. He can invite a person after evaluating the situation. He can invite a person to form the government. So again, this is because the President cannot appoint the new Prime Minister on the advice of the outgoing Prime Minister who may have lost the election or the support of the House. Okay. According to our constitution, no. The outgoing Prime Minister will advise the President, okay, to appoint the new Prime Minister. If there is a hung Parliament, it is not possible. So listen, President of India can use his wisdom and judgment if there is a hung Parliament at the center after the election. First point. After evaluation of the situation, so President of India can invite a person to form a government, and that person has to follow his majority on the floor of the Lok Sabha within a fixed time. Okay, please remember majority. So what is majority in the Lok Sabha? How many seats are essential for the majority in the Lok Sabha? 273 minimum. Okay, or 272 is essential. 272, 544. Okay. And the second one, appointment of the Prime Minister in case of sudden death of the incumbent. Incumbent is currently holding the office now. For example, by assassination as in the case of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, where the ruling legislature party is unable to meet immediately to elect the a leader. So if this situation is there, President of India can appoint a new Prime Minister according to his wisdom. Okay. And the third one, when the ruling party who has lost majority support in the Lok Sabha or when a vote of no confidence may have been passed against it, recommends to the President to dissolve the Lok Sabha, then it is at the discretion of the President to either dissolve the House or ask another party to prove its majority on the floor of the House. Suppose what because if the Lok Sabha pass a vote of no confidence against the government, against the Prime Minister and his government, if the motion pass, so the government has to resign, during that time. Okay, the President of India can, instead of dissolving the Lok Sabha, he can evaluate the situation, and if there is a chance for a new government, he can invite a person to form a government. Okay. Third, and the President can dismiss ministers in case the Council of Ministers loses the confidence of the House but refuses to resign. Okay. So these are the various discretionary powers of the President of India. President of India can use his wisdom and judgment in some occasions. So we have learned the various occasions when he can use his power. Okay. And now emergency powers. One of the important power of the President of India, emergency power. Emergency powers. An emergency is a sudden situation, sudden or unforeseen situation demanding immediate action. That is emergency, What is an emergency? It is a situation in which the head of the state assumes extraordinary powers. The President can proclaim a state of emergency in the following cases. So listen, there are 3 types of emergencies. And the President of India can declare these emergencies under various circumstances. So please remember the 3 types of emergency: national emergency or general emergency, breakdown of the constitutional machinery or the President's rule, then financial emergency. Are the 3 emergencies. This we will lead effects of emergency. Okay, listen. National emergency. When the President of India can proclaim this emergency, there is a danger of foreign aggression or danger to the peace and security of the country because of a civil war, insurgency or any other such a cause. According to Article 352, the President of India can declare a state of national emergency. But there should be reason. When he feels there is a danger of foreign aggression or the security of the country is under threat due to a foreign aggression or a war. Okay, then when the President of India can impose his rule in a state, the constitutional machinery in a state has broken down or there is a deadlock because of political uncertainties or otherwise. Article 356. Okay. He feels suppose what if there are many states in our country, many states. If he feels that administration of a state is not going well, then the governor of the state will inform everything to the president. No. During that time, President of India can impose his rule in that state, President's rule. Third one, financial emergency. When the President of India can proclaim this emergency, a setback to the financial stability or credit feasibility. Credit feasibility means the state or degree of being easily or conveniently done. Okay, we can say financial condition, we can say. Or the country is likely to occur or has occurred. If the financial condition of our country is going down, okay, or worsening, during that time, in order to recover the situation, the President of India can proclaim financial emergency. Okay, financial emergency you will learn now. Okay, these are the three types of emergencies. Okay. What are the three types of emergency? National emergency or general emergency, then constitutional emergency, okay, financial emergency. And now one by one we will learn. National or general emergency. When the President of India can proclaim or announce this emergency in the country, very important, circumstances or condition. If the President is satisfied that a grave emergency exists whereby the security of India or any part of its territory is threatened either by war or by external aggression or armed rebellion, he may proclaim an emergency. This statement is, okay, this sentence is very important. When the President of India can proclaim national emergency in our country, if he is satisfied that a serious emergency, a serious situation exists whereby the security of India, security of our country, or any part of its territory is threatened either by war or by external aggression or armed. What do you mean by, what is the difference between war and external aggression? Okay, same we can say. War against, means external aggression means war. Or armed rebellion in the country. Armed rebellion, no, okay, maybe what a civil war or war between two groups of people. So because of this, no, he may proclaim. If he feels that a grave situation exists whereby the security of India or any part of its territory is threatened either by war or external aggression or a civil war or an armed rebellion, he may proclaim emergency. The President cannot issue such a proclamation unless he has the approval in writing of the Union Cabinet. So this is very important. President of India can proclaim national emergency, no, because of the reason. But before that, before the proclamation, he will receive a written, approval in writing from the Union Cabinet. Then only he can proclaim this emergency. Please remember national emergency. We are learning about the national emergency and the various effects of national emergency. So what is national emergency and when the President of India can proclaim this emergency in the country? 2 points. And now duration, period of this emergency. Every proclamation of emergency must be approved by both Houses of Parliament within 1 month by a special majority. Approval of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are essential for this proclamation with a special majority, that is, by a majority of the total membership of the House and a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members present and voting. This is the special majority, 2/3 members present and voting. What is the 2/3 of Lok Sabha, 2/3 of Rajya Sabha? It cannot remain in operation for more than 6 months at a time. So duration of the national emergency is 6 months, no? At the end of 6 months, it has to be renewed by Parliament by a special majority, else it lapses. Okay. What is the duration of the this national emergency? 6 months, no. But the parliament can increase the time if it want. Okay. If the Lok Sabha passes a resolution disapproving the emergency, the president has to revoke the proclamation, withdraw the proclamation. Okay. So a national emergency, what do you mean by national emergency? An emergency in the country, no emergency we have learned. What is emergency? An emergency is a sudden or unforeseen situation demanding immediate action. That is emergency. And we have learned about the 3 types of emergency: national emergency, constitutional emergency, and the third one is financial emergency. Okay, financial emergency. Okay, and then we have heard about the proclamation of financial emergency, national emergency, when and the duration. Now listen, we will learn about the various effects of this emergency on fundamental rights. What is the effect of national emergency on fundamental right? The most important effect of a general emergency is that the exercise of the fundamental right is partially or wholly suspended. Okay. We all know we are having 6 rights. Okay. But during the operation of this emergency, the President of India can suspend all the fundamental rights except 2 articles. Okay. Even the right to move Supreme Court or a state high court for the enforcement of the rights except Article 20 and 21 remains suspended. We have heard about the 6th right, the right to constitutional remedies, the 6th fundamental right. And during the operation of this emergency, the President of India will suspend this right also. Then for the enforcement of our right, we cannot move to the Supreme Court or High Court. But only 2 articles will remain there, Article 20 and 21, during the operation of national emergency. Article 20 states that no person shall be punished for the same offence more than once. Article 21 declares that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. Personal liberty. So Article 20 and 21 remains there during the operation of a national emergency. President of India cannot suspend these 2 articles. Except these 2 articles, President of India will suspend all the fundamental rights. No, okay, please remember, this is the effect of this emergency on fundamental right. If this question is, sir, what is the effect of national emergency on fundamental right? Then you can write, during the operation of national emergency, the President of India can suspend all the fundamental rights except 2 articles. Okay. And we cannot move to the court for the enforcement of the fundamental right. That is also suspended. No, okay. And now, next, okay, center-state relationship. The country has to forego its federal spirit as the states are obliged to carry out the instructions of the center. The Union Parliament acquires the powers to give directions to a state on any matter so that the state government will be under the complete control of the Union Executive. Okay. And will function as under a unitary system with local subdivisions. So during the operation of this certificate emergency, the central government will assume more powers. Okay. It can give direction to the state government, and the state governments have to follow that one. The Union Parliament acquires the powers to give directions to a state on any matter, so that the state government will be under the complete control of the Union Executive and will function as under a unitary system with the local subdivisions. This is the effect of this emergency on center-state relationship and finances. The centre is empowered to suspend the financial provisions of the Constitution. Matters such as the distribution of revenues between the centre and the state and the salaries of MPs may be changed. Okay, on financial matters, And on Union and State Legislature, during the emergency, the term of the Lok Sabha may be extended. Already we have learned in lesson number 1. Okay. For a period of 1 year at a time. The same rule may be applied to the legislative assembly or any state. Okay. So these are the various effects of national emergency. Okay. Today you have to revise this topic, and tomorrow we will learn about the second one, breakdown of constitutional emergency, machinery and or president's rule. Okay. So please remember the 3 different types of emergency, and we have learned about the national emergency. President of India can proclaim this emergency, but when? That is very important. Second one, duration of this emergency, duration. Okay. And then we have learned about the third topic, effects of this emergency. Effects of this emergency. Okay. So revise it and remember the points. Thank you.